Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
Last time we got together, we played with another small batch, and we took the New Albion recipe, which was just base malt, just 2-row, and we added specialty grain. We added 90 Lovibond Crystal, and we played with the hops a bit. We added, we changed the hops from Cascade to Simcoe, and we moved the last two hop additions closer to the end of the boil.
To retain that really good grapefruity thing.
We hope. Let's check it out.
We're going to find out.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have you pour the New Albion clone.
Okay.
And then this is the Simcoe Pale Ale that we did last time. And it's only been in the bottle for a week. Let's see how we did with the... It's not a whole lot carbon. Well, I don't know. It's doing all right.
Fine. You know, I've been in the bottle for about 20 years.
And you're fizzy enough.
All right. Well, it certainly looks different.
Yes.
I got that down.
Now look, boy, that's a big difference. You can see that. Oh, it doesn't show off very well in front of my black shirt, but if you look in front of Steve's shirt, boy, it makes a big difference.
Wait a minute. My hands are definitely, there we go. Can you see that? Can you get that? This beer is near, this beer is far.
Brought to you in 3D this week.
Okay. Oh, we should start doing 3D episodes. Get them at the IMAX.
We're big enough. Ooh, the New Albion clone is still tasty. Now,
I went in the wrong order. Those are just tasty beers.
Now, let's talk about. I mean, the hops are different, definitely. In my mind, there's a lot more fruit to the one that we added later in the boil.
Yeah.
Sort of tropical fruit and citrus, grapefruit. But what do you think of it? Can you tell a difference in the flavor of the malt backbone?
I haven't done enough research.
With all those hops, it's kind of hard to tell, really.
I was going to say, I'm not getting a tremendous difference between the two beers, other than the hops. Mm-hmm. And even that, there's not a ton of difference to me. Maybe it's because I went the wrong direction because I took the big hoppy beer first.
Yeah, yeah. I think in my mind there's a fairly substantial difference in between the hops.
This is a lot softer.
But it is harder to tell with such a hoppy beer. What we do know that it made a difference in the color. Is there a difference in the mouthfeel?
Notice how I'm holding my glass.
You need a checkered shirt and some overalls.
There is a difference in the mouthfeel. You know, this is just, it's exactly what you expect. It's just a little heavier, just a little more viscous. Mm-hmm. Not a lot, because there's not a lot of difference just adding a little bit of crystal, but certainly makes a difference. I'm actually quite surprised at how much darker it is. I shouldn't be, but it really made a big difference.
Well, 90 Lovibond is fairly dark. I usually use 60 Lovibond with my pale ales.
And I usually use 40.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
So we went darker. Now this time...
that's quite delicious.
We're going to go darker still. That's why I'm wearing the black shirt. Now, what we have here is my version of a stout. There's no light getting through that.
No.
I mean, it's like, how much more dark could this be? And the answer is none.
No.
None more dark.
None more dark. That's dark.
Now,
that's a portly.
So what we got here, let me tell you how I made this, and then we'll go into our plans for what we're going to do with it.
Can I drink while you talk?
Please.
Because this is good.
So first off, and this will look familiar to those who have seen the previous two episodes, what I did was I started off with 3 quarts of water at 163 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 2.8 liters at 73 C. And to that, I added 2 pounds or 907 grams of two-row, 3 ounces or 85 grams of 120 Lovibond Crystal, 3 ounces or 85 grams of black patent, and 2 ounces or 57 grams of chocolate malt.
Okay, so let me review. So you started out with this base recipe.
Right, with the new Albion recipe.
This is because some of this are slow. I know who you are. I'm one of, and then you did this.
Right.
So now then you've added 2 more specialty grains
Right.
to get this.
Right. So
I'm good.
we brought so that brought us up to a mash temperature of 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 66 C, and I held that for an hour, 60 minutes. Then I heated up 4 quarts or at 170 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 3.8 liters at 77 C. And then I scooped the grains into the sieve like we've done the past 2 times.
Yeah.
And then I sparged the hot water over the grains and collected the wort. And once I got the wort boiling, I added 5 grams of UK Kent Goldings at 60 minutes, and then 5 grams of UK Kent Goldings at 15 minutes. And then I fermented with Saf Ale S04, 2 grams.
Okay.
Which is an English yeast. And part of the reason why I use that is because when it's done, it just flocculates right out.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to get out of the way because this has only been in the fermenter for like 4 days and it's done.
Yeah, boy, that 05 is just like, whew.
Yeah, or 04.
Yeah. I mean, I meant 04.
S04.
Yeah.
We usually use US 05.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have here is my version of a stout. Now, I was inspired by a conversation with Andy Coates, who's the brewer at West Mountain Brewery and soon to be the owner of Ozark Brewing here in Northwest Arkansas.
Ooh.
He made a mole stout. And in his version of mole stout, he used roasted cacao nibs, ancho chili, a cinnamon stick, and then vanilla beans. Now, what is a mole traditionally?
It's a little blind animal that tears up your yard. Kind of runs underneath and eats all the...
Or it's what Alton Brown has on his face. But
That's right. It's a beauty mark.
Yeah, that's right.
Or it's a sauce in Mexico, in Mexican cuisine.
Right.
So mole is just a sauce.
Now, traditionally, what I've thought of mole is like a chocolate-based sauce.
Yeah. I don't claim to be a big expert on them, but moles are kind of ubiquitous in Mexican cuisine. They're a little bit like like gumbo, but not really because it's not soup. But it's the idea that you can, I don't want to say you can put anything in them, but there are lots of different kinds of moles. Chocolate being one of the ingredients, but it's not a chocolate sauce. It's not like I'm making a sauce that's predominantly chocolate flavored. The chocolate is just one of maybe 25 or 30 or 40 ingredients. They have lots of ingredients, but they all have chilies. They all have spices of some kind. They all have, many have chocolate. Very many have chocolate, but they might have tomatillos. They might have pumpkin seeds. They can kind of be from all over.
It's a chef's choice.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, there are regional. See, I don't want to make statements that people that really know about this can go, because they're different. Just like we have regional cooking in the United States, they certainly do in Mexico as well. So there are Oaxacan moles, there are Puebla moles that are centered around around Mexico City. There's just all kinds of them. I think what happens to us Yankees is that we pick up on the chocolate. So everybody thinks it's all about the chocolate.
Right.
And my understanding of it, and I've eaten a lot of mole, is that it's not necessarily about chocolate.
Well, ours is like
Ours is though.
ours is about the chocolate.
So that's the history lesson. But not really.
Well, I mean, we've got chocolate malt in here, and we've got the dark crystal malt,
Right.
And we've got the black patent. All of that is going to give those dark, sort of chocolatey, roasty notes, and then we're adding a dried dark pepper, and we're adding all these are kind of in that same flavor.
Well, the ancho
family.
will give it a kind of raisiny flavor,
Right.
And we could use virtually any chili that we wanted. Chipotles are common, guajillos are common, anchos are common, And I really like ancho chilies, and particularly in this kind of beer, because they really do give a really raisiny, almost chocolatey flavor. The vanilla bean will be really nice. Cinnamon. This is beautiful. This is a lovely combination of flavors.
Well, let's get to it. We will prepare our beer. We will prepare our ingredients, and we'll rack into the secondary and show you how we did it. Okay, so the first thing that we did was we sanitized some glass marbles and we put them in our hop sack. And then we added our ingredients. We chose to add 10 grams of cacao nibs, 1/2 of a cinnamon stick, which is about 1.5 grams, half of an ancho chili, which was, or actually we did a whole ancho chili.
We used the whole one. It was 12 grams.
About 12 grams. And 1/2 of vanilla bean, which weighed out to a little over 1 gram. And then we cinched the bag up and we added some CO2 to our little Mr. Beer keg. You don't have to do that, but if you have CO2, it's a handy thing to help avoid oxidation. And then we racked into the keg using a little handy auto siphon. And then after we racked, we added the bag of our steeping ingredients into the keg. And because I had the marbles in there, it sank right to the bottom.
How long will you leave it on the secondary?
Well, it's a good question. Now, a handy thing about using the little plastic Mr. Beer keg is it's got this big wide opening on the top where we could put all that stuff into. Also, it's got this spigot right here. So if I wanted to, I could just sample every now and then right out of the spigot, and we could see where we are. I don't know. What do you think? A week?
Yeah,
at least a week?
I'd say a week or two. I don't think there's much advantage to going longer than 2 weeks, but
right.
Yeah.
Also, another handy thing is when it comes to bottling time, it's going to be really easy to bottle from there.
Yeah.
So we took a hydrometer sample. Our starting gravity was 1062. Our finishing gravity, at least at this point, is 1016. So that gives us an ABV of 6.1%. So pretty. I think it fits into the robust category there. So what do you think? Yeah.
I think it's good. I mean, I've already tasted it. It's got a nice flavor. It's very stouty.
It's plenty chocolatey right now.
And it's not about the hops, and you don't want it to be.
No. But there is enough of a bitterness in there where it's not overly sweet.
Right.
You don't want something that's just cloying, and you don't want something that's too dry or too bitter at this point. I think it would clash with our ingredients.
I think this will be a very nice beer and nicely inspired.
Yeah. So. Thanks to Andy Coates for the inspiration.
Yeah.
And follow the example. I mean, try this at home. If you do, as usual, put your comments on either the Facebook page or the YouTube page.
Well, and once again, small batch. So we're working with Andy's recipe, which is a 15-gallon recipe.
Right.
That's a big risk if you don't know you like it.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can mess around and do a gallon and kick it back, See what you think.
There you go.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Come and visit us on the web. At basicbrewing.com, you can find archive lists of both our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs, Extract Brewing and Partial Mashing, Stepping into All Grain, Low-Tech Lagering and Decoction Mashing, Introduction to Wine Kits, and our Basic Brewing Brewer's Logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Write to James at basicbrewing.com, Steve at basicbrewing.com, or just use the contact form on basicbrewing.com.